G'day everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Grandma's Handbag. I hope you're doing well. Really happy to be here. Thank you so much for all the support so far, for joining up with the VC, everybody. You guys have been fantastic. Special shout out, I think I've got to say, to DJ Legion and to Gregory Short. Just a couple of initiatives you guys have had. I really recommend everyone check out the channels if you haven't already. DJ Legion's been doing a lovely little welcome video to new members, and Gregory Short sort of taken that idea and similarly got a 700 subscribers contest at the moment where he's getting people to nominate a new VC member. So fantastic little innovations and things to really applaud you guys for. So well done there. I get the feeling that my name or channel must have been mentioned somewhere out there, because yeah, I just seem to get a whole bump of viewers. So whoever's mentioned me, double thumbs up. Really really appreciate it. Very humbled by it. So anyway, yeah, just thank you so much again to everyone subscribing, and I can't wait to bring you this episode. I have to say, this is it doesn't usually happen to me, and I'm sure I'm going to paint the picture in just a minute, because I'm sure it happens to everyone. But in any case, it's incredible. It's a vinyl haul video, and we're going to jump into that in just a moment. First things first, Grandma's little helper. We have a beautiful Springbank 15-year-old single malt whiskey from Campbelltown in Scotland. That's on the Western Islands there. We're talking 46%, 92 proof for you folks in the US. Natural colour, a lovely, gorgeous sherry influenced whiskey. Beautiful stuff. It's what can I say? It feels to me like a real old time malt whiskey. You know, it's uncompromising. I get these sort of bits of wood sap going on in there, and yeah, obviously the sherry's got a big influence, but it's a very nice malt to be sitting there. And because it's from Campbelltown and I'm pretty much from Campbelltown, I had to show my colours. There you go. Thank you guys. And also cheers to the boys of this week, the Who. Good on ya. Alright, I've got to set the scene here. I'm sure you guys have been there before, at least, well, surely everyone. It's early morning on a weekend, and you've seen a sign around during the week or the past couple of weeks that there's a yard sale, there's a garage sale, there's a church sale or something on nice and early, and you want to get to it. You just have a feeling about it. So you finally drag your ass out of bed early enough, you know, free yourself from any distractions, and you're out on the road to go check it out. So this was me one Sunday morning not too long ago at a god-awful 7 AM. Knew I had to get in there early. I had no idea there'd be some records there, but you know, crossing fingers, and you know, next thing there I was, and I was in. It was fantastic. Worth it, so worth it. And I'm going to start off now with the ones that were pretty much the write-offs first off, because as I mentioned in my introduction episode, the dreaded vinyl cancer makes an appearance, and I tell you what, it was dicey there for a while. I picked up this lot of stuff, and most of them were in these you know, heavy old sleeves and that, and I thought I was done for. I'd done my money. I mean, it's still worth it. I think I paid roughly $1 each for these records. But with that there, and first taking him out of the sleeves, I thought I was done for. Luckily I wasn't, and partially that was because of picking up one of these bad boys, which I'd kind of meant to do for a long time. But the old spin clean certainly brought a lot of these records back from the dead. I thought they were, a majority of them were afflicted with vinyl cancer, and they pretty much weren't. There's some that were, to a degree, and that sort of brings me to one point which I'll get to after I show you these records, or maybe while I show you them. But anyway, too many digressions. The first one is incomplete. It's a disappointment, but what are you going to do? Frank Zappa Zoot Lures. It's a cover only. There's nothing going on in there. What a shame. Would have enjoyed that. I've just started enjoying some bits of Zappa. So yeah, next time. ZZ Top, Tres Hombres. I don't know a lot of ZZ Top, but I knew that this was a pretty early one of theirs. I'm always interested more or less in the early stuff a band's going to do. Lovely gatefold. Even the conditions is on the better side of the ones I picked up here. But turns out it has Fandango in there. So not a complete wash. At least there's some ZZ Top. But I would have preferred Tres Hombres. If you guys have got anything out there you want to say about that Fandango or Tres Hombres, let us know. Be awful to know what I missed, but at the same time I'm interested to hear, because I'm pretty new to ZZ Top. Next one, I've got one of his albums, and this one there's only one of the two records in there. Todd Rundgren Anthology. So I've got sides 3 and 4, the second disc on there. This is a mid to late 80s, 87, a compilation from 87, which is kind of interesting in its own way. But yes, spun side 2 on this, and there is some good stuff, some really good stuff, especially that sort of mid 70s, 73, 74 Sweet Zone. So really enjoyed what I have on that at the moment. Just wish that first disc was in there. The next one, it's a classic. I think, most everyone has them. I'm, to be honest, not a huge fan of Mr. John. I just, it was kind of wallpaper for me growing up. You hear it around, and it never enjoyed it so much. Impressive artwork, indicative, I suppose, of that early 70s rock and roll excess. But this one here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but this is more or less afflicted with the vinyl cancer that I'm mentioning before. You can sort of see tiger style patterns, waviness and things, and these have all been through a spin clean. No joy. So yeah, very, very unfortunate. And what I was going to say before about the vinyl cancer that I keep mentioning is that I actually think, from my limited knowledge of it, I suppose, or experience, is I think it's kind of it's a combination. There's that bleaching or leaching of plastic, the plastic sleeves into the vinyl, but I also believe it's an environmental issue insofar as if you live in a certain climate, then your records might be more susceptible. I found with a lot of these, as I was taking them out, there was moisture between the inner sleeve, the non-static sleeve for the record, and the record itself, and most of those were then in these sleeves afterwards. So, if you live in a cooler and drier climate, my theory is you'd be less susceptible to plastic leaching and vinyl cancer, but probably best to get rid of those things just to be sure. Anyway, Next one now, we got Red Gum's Virgin Ground, Aussie band, early 80s, 1980 itself actually. Haven't heard much of Red Gum. I was hoping it had their classic song, I Was Only 19, but I think that might be just after this. Anyway, be an interesting one to hear. Next one, classic, mid to late 80s, Johnny Diesel and the Injectors. This record's pretty beat up, but I'll give it a spin, see how well it plays. Might be one to punt on. Never a huge fan, but I remember my sister had quite the crush on him, So yeah, Johnny Diesel. From there you got to go to Johnny Diesel's brother-in-law, Jimmy Barnes' Freight Train Heart. I think this is his second solo album. 86 or 87. Again, not a huge fan of Barnesy. But this is probably when I started to remember and realise music was a thing at around about 9 years old, so I'll jump back into that. Barnesy's band, Cold Chisel. Breakfast at Sweethearts. This is 79. Cover doesn't look in the best condition. There's used to be a hype sticker there that's kind of faded, but the record itself, can't complain. Not too bad. It's a lovely Electra issue, Aussie copy. I think most of these are all Aussie copies, so yeah, looking forward to that. It's probably a little part of my history, musical history, Oz rock history that I haven't really delved too far into. But I know that I had a babysitter when I was a lot younger, basically. My mum's good friend who was a big fan of Chisel, so maybe I heard enough at the time to tide me over, but it's time to jump back in. And there's another Chisel one, East. I think this one followed Breakfast at Sweethearts. I do know Standing on the Outside. I used to love that song as a kid. But I mean, Choir Girl, Cheap Wine. Yeah, there's a few good tracks on there, that's for sure. Next one, again, don't know an awful lot. Nils Lofgren, I Came to Dance. And boy did he. That's some classic late 70s artwork in there. Yeah, I know his work and sort of turning up later on with Neil Young. But anyway, it's definitely, look, it's when you're flicking through with competition closing in to pick up those records at $1 a piece, you see a name like that and you got to give it a shot. Likewise, the Cars. I mean, I think this is their debut album, absolute classic. Roy Thomas Baker, the Queen producers there behind that. Look, yeah, it's a new wave classic. I rarely hear a bad word about this album. I haven't heard it, even though I've picked it up, but I mean, there's songs I know and hear just from radio play over the years, Good Times Roll, You're All I've Got Tonight. It's all going to be there. Rick Ocasek's classic as far as songwriter goes. I think he's made his own production career as well, so it's hard to go wrong with that one. Next one we got, what's that on there? Oof. Tony Joe White. Swamp rock, nice, good feeling stuff. I always sort of put him in the slightly in the Creedence camp. I might be wrong on that. If you guys want to correct me, please, more than happy to hear from you on that one. But anyway, Tony Joe White, another one I vaguely remember my parents playing as when I was a little kid, or that. Poke Salad Annie, they definitely had that on a single. But at best of is always a good place to at least start and then see if we want to get into some more. Another one from that sort of area, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Street Survivors. Man, I am loving this cover. That it's just 70s splendor. That dress, you know, it's incredible. Those denim cutoffs, top hats, beards, long hair. It's got every cliche you would kind of want there. Again, really don't know a lot of Lynyrd Skynyrd. I'm sitting more on the Neil Young side of their spat, I suppose, but definitely looking forward to checking this one out. If you've got a recommendation on the best Lynyrd Skynyrd album to get into, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on this one as well. Looking forward to that. Another 70s rock classic band anyway. Bad Company, Burning Sky. Lovely gatefold. Those stickers there to give you a hint of what's going to happen, what's going on with it. Yeah, it's Bad Company. Again, not really something I'd listen to, but I'm happy to go and have a listen to this one. I think I got about 30 odd records, so I don't even know if I'm halfway through. I'll speed this up. John Lennon, Double Fantasy with Yoko Ono. Yeah, I'm a huge Beatles fan and Lennon fan. I know this might be on the schmaltzier end of things, but I'm interested to hear this with some fresh ears anyway. It's been years since I've heard the whole album, so there we go. Another Beatles cohort anyway. George Harrison, Dark Horse. Haven't got a lot of Harrison. I think I've only got Material World, but mid-70s. I'm pretty interested to hear what's going to happen in there. Some lovely gatefold action. George on the back. You know, a little bit of wear and things like that, but can't complain too much on this. Another 70s album that's ubiquitous, Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. Yeah, look, there's not much that Wonder didn't cover in the 70s, you know. He covered so much ground, he was putting a lot of music out, so this one I know of it, haven't really heard it as a complete album, so looking forward to going for that one. These ones, it's hard to leave them sitting there. The classic Big O, just a simple best of. I see it's got Monument, which is his classic label, but it's also on Summit Records, which is pretty much a budget subsidiary here in Australia, so I don't expect anything huge sonically or that out of here, but you know, you've got a dozen tracks, and there's going to be at least half of those that you'll know and will be things you're happy to hear over and over. Good one for the folks as well, because I know Dad's a bit of an Orbison fan, and I think that's rubbing off on me too, Dad, so keep it up. Alright, Donovan's Greatest Hits. I've had this on CD for quite a while, so find it on vinyl, you've got to pick it up. Classic Donovan. Alright, these boys, The Who, they're getting a little bit older, but they're all still there. The Who's Who Are You? I think from memory the final Who album before Keith Moon shuffled along, sadly, but yeah, look, there's going to be some good tracks and things in there, not least the very title track itself. Okay, classic, absolute classic. Pretty happy to have this one. Queen's Night at the Opera in the double, the gatefold, and I don't know if I get the feeling this is an American press. It's on Elektra. You've got that classic butterfly again. Yeah, I don't know who Alan's P is, or if that's, you know, Alan or your P. Thanks for letting me know you had this once. I'll take good care of it for you, Alan. Another band, look, to be honest, I never used to give them a lot of chop because you'd hear all the radio songs and things like that, but I might be ready to change my tune on that. classic Creedence, Cosmo's Factory. I'm looking at the back tracks here, and a lot of them seem to be more the classic 2-3 minute pop songs, but what I'm interested in here is I'm seeing a 11-minute version of Heard It Through the Grapevine, a 7-minute version of Ramble Tamble. I think that's where I'm probably more interested in hearing Creedence. And I say that because the next one I picked up is a live double album. And look, you've got some tracks on here, or quite a few of them are your standard 2 to 3 minute songs that you're used to hearing on the radio for them, but Keep on Tugling on side 4, 13.5 minutes, some real like gnarly kind of fuzzed out, low slung, grooving rock, you know, really good stuff. That's got me more excited about Creedence than I have been probably ever. So yeah, sounding like a great album so far. Very happy. Alright, Buffalo Springfield. This is a double, a collection pretty much of their best, and that was put out in the early 70's, I think, 73, 74. Most likely to capitalise on Neil Young's success with Harvest and probably also Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. So yeah, this is a pretty good collection. There's some interesting stuff in them, scattered in amongst the classic songs and singles they're known for. Alright, we're getting along there now, sorry guys. This is just exciting to know that it happened to me for once. You know, you see so many great vinyl hauls that everyone out there, you guys are all picking up. And I love it. It's just a thrill to see, but when it happens to you, it's amazing. So, Bruce. I have to be honest with you, this is the first Bruce I've got on vinyl. And I feel like it's a good start. This is probably right in the sweet spot of Bruce from what I'm hearing. I have to say that the only favourite album of mine of his, or the best one I've heard, is Nebraska. I don't tend to go for Bruce's bombast, but this is, you know, around Nebraska. I think it's yeah, I think it's one I'm really looking forward to digging into. Alright, now we got a stack of Dylan here, and nothing could make me happier than a whole stack of Dylan, let me assure you. Slow Train Coming. I've got this already on vinyl, but look, I really enjoy Slow Train. I'm sure I'll speak at length about Dylan. This is the first in his you know, Bible trilogy or religious trilogy, and there's nothing Bob does better than if he's a little bit fired up, and there's certainly plenty of fire and brimstone in that one too. Bob Dylan at Budokan, double record. Look, not the best I've heard of Dylan live. I mean, some of the bootleg series ones probably do it better, but very interesting because you can already start to hear him mess around with some of his arrangements that he became famous for doing later on in his live concert career. So happy with that. Very happy with the brilliant blood on the tracks. I mean, on a particular day, this could be my favourite Dylan album. Not every day, but you know, it's right up there. It's just a masterpiece. Second copy of that one, but it's still got a good home, and I'll know where I can place it once I work out which copy is good to punt along. Another one, classic 60s Dylan, John Wesley Harding. This is lovely. This is a really nice album, and not to mention a copy. These some of these ones are early 80s as opposed to originals. Yeah, that sort of sunburst CBS vinyl is just yeah, interesting to see that they had that reissue. Then in a way they're a little I don't know about rarer, but yeah, there wouldn't have been a lot of them sold compared to, I suppose, the 60s or 70s. So Bob Dylan's greatest hits. Haven't had this one before. Not usually a greatest hits person, but sometimes they're the right thing to jump in on. But any Bob, better than no Bob in my books. So definitely thought I'd have a Bob each way. Sorry, had to do that. The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, absolutely stoked to get this one. Really, really happy. Haven't got a copy of it. Had been on the lookout for quite some time. I mean, this is just probably the first Dylan album that is really essential. You know what I mean? It's his second album. Again, it's the early 80s press. I think 82 or 83 or so. So it might make it in, meant it's fared slightly better condition wise than other ones. But yeah, absolutely over the moon to find that Dylan. Really, really happy. This next one is unbelievable as well. We have Cream's Disraeli Gears, a classic, you know, the 60s blues rock psych album. And even better than that, it is an original it's an original mono press. So it's, I have to admit though, it's probably one of the worst condition ones there. You can see that M33 is the mono press, but condition wise it's pretty beat to hell. That said, you know, it's worth a spin, and the cover work alone, artwork alone, is a Martin Sharp. It was an Australian guy, so hard to leave that alone. Really enjoy his artwork. This next one is another Aussie one, second to last one. Couldn't believe I'd see this one there. It's an Aussie 60s classic, The Loved Ones Magic Box. Original stereo press. It's hanging in there for its age. It's really not that bad condition. Nice heavy vinyl. Someone's thoughtfully put a star instead of writing on the label, but there it is. Incredible. Yeah, condition's not perfect by any means. It's seen better days, but the music on the grooves is absolutely timeless stuff. So really, really happy. And of course, you got to leave the best to last, don't you? So this is one that, believe it or not, as a massive fan, I hadn't ever had on vinyl. Had been, you know, on the want list for quite a long time, and it turns up right in there. The original Australian press 72 of Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie. What an album. I don't need to preach to you on this, but to have it here, just really, really, really happy. I thought this one was going to be a write-off due to that old vinyl cancer, but she came up beautifully. Condition better than I was hoping as well. Just, yeah, a dream, absolute dream, and a find like that just topped off the whole thing, you know. So yeah, dreams, they can come true. What can I say? Alright, thank you very much everyone. So happy to share those with you. I'm finally getting through this backlog here. Anyway, look, if there's any tips you've got, anything you want to say about some of the records there, please let us know. I love to hear what you're thinking. Keep commenting, keep on making your videos too. I'm watching and trying to comment across as many as I can, so I'm really enjoying everything, and thank you so much guys. Have a great one.